Quick baby food hacks for busy parents. Try these today. It's not always easy homesteading with children or homesteading while pregnant, but it's always worth it. But before we start, please like, share, and subscribe to help us grow. Your comments are appreciated. Please see the food tips on the chart on the screen. While preparing for a new baby on the homestead, I knew we'd want to make homemade baby food again. Baby Nathaniel loves his freeze-dried yogurt bites and all the baby food recipes in this post. When are babies ready for solid food? Babies have rapidly growing brains and bodies, so we must nourish them during their early years. Breast milk is absolutely the best in the first stage of life. You'll want to ensure you're focusing on your nutrition as a mom to pass along the best nutrition to your baby. When babies reach about 6 months old, they need additional iron, which can stall their growth and make them lifeless if you're not careful. Studies have found that babies who were exclusively fed breast milk had greater chances of anemia than those introduced to solid foods. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, infants with chronic, severe iron deficiency have been observed to display increased fearfulness, unhappiness, fatigue, low activity, wariness, solemnity, and proximity to the mother during free play, development testing, and at home. Anemic infants who did not receive iron supplementation never smiled, interacted socially, and never showed social referencing. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go overboard too early. But starting to give babies tastes of the more iron-rich foods on your plate early on is normal and what most traditional cultures have done. A few egg yolk or liver bites from your plate are great for babies. Once babies start reaching for your food or mimicking chewing and have lost their gag reflex, they are ready for more regular and larger meals. Another sign they are prepared for food is they will stop pushing their tongue out when a spoon or a bit of food is placed in their mouth. What are solid foods? To ensure we're on the same page, when I refer to solid food, I mean anything other than liquids. Just because a baby is ready for solid foods doesn't mean they're prepared to tackle a steak. Their food will still need to be soft and pureed. At about 1 year, my babies are ready for more solid finger foods they can pick up and feed themselves. How to introduce foods to babies. I firmly believe in easy baby feeding. Giving baby food off your plate as they sit in your lap until they are about 9 months old or until they start asking for food is my ideal way to go. However, not all of us are with our babies at every meal, so having some pre-made baby food is a great option. But should you be feeding your baby grains as their first food? Best introductory foods for baby. With all of the allergies and digestive challenges in our modern world, I keep my babies away from grains, refined sugar, processed dairy, and nuts until after their first birthday. This gives them ample time to prepare their digestive systems to process harder-to-digest foods. I also avoid leafy greens and most raw foods, which are harder to digest. What about fats? Moreover, fat is of immense importance to babies. Because they're increasing, their growth can be stalled if they don't get adequate nutrition. Mother's milk is primarily fat, much of it saturated fat, which is needed for proper growth and development. These milk fats will provide energy for your baby and build muscle and bone. Finally, these crucial fats, which provide vitamins A, D, and K, are necessary for protein and mineral assimilation, average growth, and hormone production. What about salt? We all know that good quality salt is essential for adults to maintain adequate minerals. The same goes for babies. The chloride in salt is needed for a baby's developing brain, and sodium is critical for neurological development. What's wrong with commercial baby food? Simple, nutritious foods like egg yolk and liver are unavailable in jars as baby food. Even quality-sourced baby food meat is hard to find. You won't see pasture-raised organic chicken on most grocery store shelves. Furthermore, most baby foods contain water as a main ingredient. And who wants to be paying for water? Making homemade baby food. You'll need to source all your ingredients when making homemade baby food. If you're not growing or raising the food yourself, source it from a reputable farmer when possible. Supplies needed. Food processor. I love my mini food processor for making smaller batches of baby food. You can also use something like this Breville food processor. Cutting board knife. For any chopping and prepping, be sure to have a cutting board and knife handy. Spatula. You'll probably need to scrape down the sides of the food processor to ensure everything is incorporated. Spoon. You're going to want to taste test the food. Storage containers. If you cook in batches, have some storage containers or ice cube trays ready. Otherwise, have glass storage containers ready for the refrigerator. Ingredients needed. When it comes to homemade baby food, the combinations are virtually endless. You can make individual servings of the following foods or keep reading to find some of my favorite combinations for an all-in-one meal. Meat, chicken, fish, liver, and beef, all home-raised on pasture or carefully raised by a local farmer. Veggies, broccoli, green beans, beets, carrots, and pumpkin. Fruit. I limit fruit to a minimum and combine it with baby food containing protein and fats to avoid blood sugar spikes. For a little added sweetness to some of our baby food recipes, I like to add apples or bananas. Fats. I prefer using our homemade butter, coconut oil, home-rendered lard, or chicken, duck and goose fat. Avocados and olive oil are other great fat sources. Salt. Remember the salt. We use and love Redmond real salt. Liquids. You must add adequate liquids for younger babies to thin and smooth their food. As your baby ages, you can leave it a more chunky consistency so they get used to chewing. Adding liquids when cooking baby food. The vegetables need to be steamed before pureeing. There are a few options for liquids used in baby food. Water. If using water to thin out baby food, consider using the water used to steam the vegetables. This will help add back the nutrients that were cooked out. Bone broth. One of my favorite liquid options is good quality homemade bone broth. I love having freeze-dried broth on hand for small batch needs like homemade baby food. Breast milk. If you have enough breast milk for this, it's a fantastic option for thinning out baby food. Breast milk is an absolute superfood, and we want to get it into the baby's diets as often as possible. Fermenting liquid. Something that might need to be more prominent is to use the fermenting liquid from our ferments. I love adding some sauerkraut juice to thin out food for baby Nathaniel. Not only does this give him healthy enzymes and probiotics, but it also introduces him to that tart flavor and starts his body craving more foods like it. Baby food recipes. You'll notice that these recipes do not include meats in these recipes. That's the beauty of homemade baby food. Use the foods you have on hand and make good flavor combinations. Think of a thinkate of food and mimic that for a baby's food. Higher homesteading hack. As mentioned, we try to avoid too much fruit for babies at a young age. Feeding them more savory dishes helps their palate develop and taste healthier options without sugar. However, every once in a while, it's fun to give your baby a little treat. The no-cook options above combine healthy fat to help eliminate a blood sugar spike. Storing homemade baby food. Once you've made your homemade baby food, place it in a sealed container and refrigerate for up to 3 days. If you won't use it all by then, freeze it in ice cube trays or pop it into the freeze dryer to make freeze-dried baby food, perfect for packing when traveling. Tips for making homemade baby food. When blending baby food, use enough base so your blender can blend well. Thin homemade baby food with breast milk, bone broth, cooking, or fermenting liquid. Freeze any baby food you won't use in an ice cube tray within 3 days. This is great for big batch baby food days. Put frozen cubes into freezer storage bags for up to 3 months. Thaw frozen baby food cubes in the refrigerator in an airtight container. Or, if you're in a hurry, place a frozen cube in a zipper bag and run it under warm water until it's thawed. Do a taste test. If you don't like it, Chances are, neither will baby. Food should never taste bitter or tart and not overly salty. Add extra superfoods like pluck. Ensure food isn't too sweet so the baby doesn't get a sweet tooth. Add superfood fats to baby's food. Butter, lard, coconut oil, coconut cream, avocado, and homemade whole milk yogurt are great options. Mix 2 purees for more flavor profiles as the baby gets used to more foods. Add texture to any puree by stirring baby oatmeal, hemp, or chia seeds. This is it for now. I hope you have learned something good from it and that you can start the spring and summer feeding your baby nutrient-rich, healthy food.